Welcome to Revolutionary Healing, a day that will change your life. You change your food to more natural. I had spoken about all the death that were happening with my family members, and I'm going to continue with part B. When my sister had broken up with the not so good guy, the one that passed on that sexually transmitted disease to her, I told her to come out and come out and stay with me and her dog. She wasn't navigating very well because of those mini strokes that she had. So she not only just missed her flight, she couldn't get the car service that was waiting for her. But when she did arrive, she kept vomiting. Now, mind you, I know that what happens with that vomiting. She was at my house, and one day she just kept vomiting and vomiting and vomiting. Pattern. Do you see the pattern again? There's the pattern. So I had told her she has to stop with the food. It's the food to stop with the caffeine. My niece took her to the emergency room. I can't remember what happened. I think they probably issued her more prescription drugs. But I did tell my sister to stay with us. Stay here in this state, and I will try to take care of her. Do you know, my sister kept telling me her doctors aren't here. They don't live here, and she didn't want to be here because her doctors were not here. She acted like these doctors were gods of some sort, like they were the only ones that could cure her. Nobody knows your body like you do. Yes, the doctors can speculate just like you can, but not one person knows your body like you do. That is, if you want to know your body, because it speaks to you just like a person does. You can just watch all the signs because they were all there. She wound up going back home, and I had started to move again, and a friend of mine told me about medical medium. I started on this protocol, and I found a difference. I wasn't vomiting consistent vomiting at that point, but I still found a huge difference. And then AW rolled out liver rescue. I proceeded on liver rescue, and I found 100% difference with the clean supplements. I repeat, I found 100% difference with the supplements that he has on his site. I was eating the clean food, and in the beginning I did speak to you about hitting my eye, and I'm going to go back to that now because I hit the side of my eye with a pole. Now, there were no bruises or anything there, and as I continued to pack, I started to notice that I was having a problem seeing out of my eye. As I started, I saw this cloud come around my eye, inside the eye, and then it started to progress, like I could not see out of the eye. But yet, I actually felt something moving inside my eye. I could actually feel it. And then I started feeling the sharp pain. The cloud was back again where I couldn't see anything. It was like an open-close lens. Open, close, open, closed. I used the compresses without any kind of success. And then I started to notice I couldn't tolerate the light. It was more intense and it was more painful. So this issue persists, I think it was about over a month, or maybe it was a month. I don't know. A friend of mine told me that I should go to the doctor. Now, by now, I had a black patch over my eye because the eye was so sensitive to light, and it just seemed like it was getting worse. So I just said, okay, let me self-medicate. Let me just get the patch. I used the patch. I didn't want to use anything inside my eye because I was doing medical medium, and I just wanted to follow that protocol because I felt a huge difference. So this friend of mine was a nurse, and she told me that she was going to take me to the emergency room. I really didn't want to, but I was trying to work on my stubbornness. I was trying to become a better person. I was trying to work on my crap that I had, and Lord knows I have crap. But anyway, let's not go there. Now, over $7,000 later after going to this emergency room, and test after test, no outcome except to go on antibiotics. Of course, I I chose not to go on antibiotics. With that one eye, I went to the medicalmedium.com page. I looked under supplements, and what stood out with just that one eye was mullein and garlic eardrops. For some reason, that's what stood out, and that's what I ordered. And then I saw eye bright. That's what stood out, and that's what I ordered. And then again, I went on the cat's claw. I went on the lemon balm, because the lemon balm decreased the inflammation, and I did see an improvement. That pain cleared up, but with an intense pain of it moving all around. Then I felt it not just move to this to this eye. I felt it move to this eye. So it was like it was back and forth. It was, and I just remember thinking, man, this thing is sticking like glue. Then I would have the pain in my back. And let me tell you, oh my gosh, the pain was so intense. I literally had to lay on the floor, bring my knees to my chest, and rock back and forth several times, and do forward rolls up and back. And that would release some of the pain. And while I was doing that, I was talking to this thing in my body. I don't know why I was talking to it, but I was. I was talking to this virus in my body. And I was telling it, listen, you do not belong in this body. You need to move. And what occurred to me is the movie Alien. It came to my mind. I stayed on medical medium protocol to this day. And I can guarantee you that if you're going to do medical medium protocol, I guarantee you don't need the glasses. You don't need the dentist. If you stay away from the no foods, I include chicken, fish, beef, all live animals. AW does not. He welcomes the chicken, the fish, the beef. He's very neutral with that. But I saw a huge difference when my niece and her child went on the chicken, the fish. I saw a huge shift with them, with their anger. So I say no chicken, no fish, no beef. Chicken isn't very far from the egg, so that's why I just say no chicken. Do you know my eye became inflamed again? Once again, I had a problem. They had to come in and spray my apartment because there was mold. My eye again became inflamed. So we see chemicals have a huge issue. Let's get back to the issue with what happened with my niece. After her mom died, prior to her mom dying, she was taking classes, medical classes. She had gotten married. She had a child. She was trying to navigate a child, a husband, going to school, working, having to deal with her mom's death, trying to acquire a will because I thought my sister left a will, but there was no will. Long story short, this person had stress after stress after stress, trying to keep the relationship going and the child moving forward. I think I don't know if I told you, but my sister had passed away of an overdose of prescription pills that she forgot she had taken. She had left me a message on my cell phone stating something was wrong. I later found that, but anyway, the niece had started taking prescription drugs and then started going to caffeine, marijuana, vaping, and the fast food. She had gotten a divorce. They both had to move in with me. Every single time I would come home, all we would do is argue. See a pattern here? This person was eating eggs, chicken, all the foods on the no list. I say chicken because I call it a no list. AW doesn't. Again, she moved out. At the time, I was taking the baby to school, her child to school. I was picking up the baby from school. Now, the baby was on medical medium protocol prior because the baby had the baboon. Because kids have the baboon at 5 and whatever other ages. So the baby had taken the baboon. Now I went to the doctor with them, just like I did with my sister and her kids, and I noticed The baby was antsy after we got her into the car seat. She was like really antsy and she didn't look well. The next few days, she wasn't really articulating her words properly like she used to. Then she started banging her head on the cabinet. Now, that was completely abnormal. This child never did anything like that. This child is what we call an old soul. I mean, she kind of enlightened me at my age. She was 5 and enlightening me. I saw a huge difference with the baby, and I immediately took action and put her on all of the medical medium protocol. But then, for some reason, the baby's response was really quick. I gave her the lemon water. I waited 15 to 20 minutes. We did the celery juice, waited for 15 to 20 minutes. The baby taught me to swoosh the celery juice in your mouth because the virus can be inside your gums, hence the dentist. So the baby told me, oh yeah, just swish it in your mouth. So I sang her a celery juice song, which maybe I'll touch on later. I think it's on Instagram. I think I recorded it. I think it's on Instagram. But anyway, I sang her the celery juice song to make it, fun because, she's 5 years old. You want to make everything fun. So she drank her celery juice. We played games with it to make sure she would drink her celery juice. I made her salad for school, and I made the natural orange juice dressing for her because you can't have the dressing because it's full of citric acid, artificial flavor, artificial coloring, maltose, dextrose, things you don't want. Anyway, and it took a lot of patience. Oh my gosh, did it ever. She would tell me this hurts, that hurts, and I would massage wherever she said it would hurt. I noticed, first it was her back that was hurting, then it was her hip that was hurting, then it was her leg that was hurting, then it was her foot, and then it kind of went right back up. Anyway, I kept giving her massages, and I would massage her scalp as well. As a matter of fact, if you start touching your scalp, and if you feel like there are bumps, what I call high-low road, a bump here, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, your scalp shouldn't be that way. It should be smooth. So that's why I think AW talks about massaging the scalp. And eventually you'll see what I'm talking about if you're on his protocol. My niece, the child's daughter, had started to change so much. She was getting angrier and resentful, mean, and it was just so hard to deal with. And then one day the school called me to pick up the baby. They said the baby was vomiting. So immediately, of course, I picked up the baby. Of course, I picked up the baby. I changed her food, but the mom was still giving her the bad foods. Hence the vomiting. Do you see the pattern where I'm coming from here? The pattern is you eat the bad foods and you start to vomit. That's the pattern, at least in my family that I noticed. That's what I know. I stated to the mom to change the diet, and the mom, I don't think she changed it, but she became forgetful. They both started changing. I think it was also the food that my niece was feeding the baby. But intuitively I knew she wasn't following the medical medium protocol. She was back with the caffeine and everything else. And so the school called me again. Now, this didn't happen 1 or 2 times. It didn't happen 3 or 4. It was more like, okay, let's talk 5 or 6 times, maybe 6 or 7. On the last round, of course, I picked up the baby because the school called me because the baby was vomiting. So I picked up the baby this time, and I called the mother, and I told the mother that I picked up the baby because the baby was vomiting at school, that we were at a particular store getting clean foods. I bought the baby the clean foods, the bananas, the apples, and the mother arrived asking the baby what happened. I interjected and I said she vomited at school. And the mom starts getting angry at me and says, I didn't ask you what happened. I asked her. I mean, you're talking to a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old was talking about something with the boy at school. And I'm telling her, listen, she got sick. Needless to say, the baby and the mother got into the car. Then I see my niece on her phone because I'm bringing out the bag. I'm bringing out the bag of the bananas and the apples to give to her because I want the baby to be better. So I'm bringing out the bag. I see my niece on the phone. Intuitively, I knew this lady is is so messed up with heavy metals, bad food. Who knows what else is in her supplements or the prescription drugs, because she's not making any kind of sense. She called the cops on me. The cops came, and do you know, the cops started interrogating me, looking in my car and asking me, why did I leave from point D to point A to pick up this child? And here I am trying to explain to the officer. Now, mind you, I was full of stress. Number one, I got stress at the job. I have stress because, number one, it's a new job. Number two, I got the issue with the boss. And then I come home and I have an issue with my niece and her child. But anyway, so I was under a lot of stress. So maybe, I'll be honest, maybe I didn't act in the way that I needed to act. I didn't use that compassion that I needed to use, considering the circumstances. But then again, I wasn't well. I was stressed out, and stress is the killer with this virus and these heavy metals. Stress is the major trigger of everything. AW talks about that in the book, Brain Saver. He talks about that. The police were asking me all kinds of questions. They saw that the baby wasn't in my car. They said to me, where is the baby? The baby, I said, is in her car. I pointed to the car. And again, they told me, do you understand the severity of this issue? I didn't feel trustworthy of the police. So I try to avoid them as much as possible. So they just asked me, is it worth it? And I thought, okay, nah. So anyway, so that issue, my health was playing a big issue for me. I was working in a place that had chemicals, and every single time I left that place, I would keep getting sore throats. I mean, I would leave the place, I would be fine. I would come home, I would have my celery juice, I would have my lemon water, I would have my non-toxic foods, non-processed foods, and I didn't have a problem. But yet, every time I went to this particular job, I was having a problem. And then when the chemicals were there, I felt like I had no brain, like I could not think. I mean, it was like my brain was gone, 000, nothing there. Now, like I said, I quit that job because there was just so much going on. In the Brain Saver book on page 60, Medical Medium speaks about everyone having a certain level of mercury in their organs, including their brain. Having more viral cells mean more opportunities to run across small pockets of mercury inside the liver, spleen, pancreas, and reproductive systems, intestinal tract, heart, or brain. If someone is very low in mercury toxicity, it doesn't mean they won't get a dose of mercury exposure at some point. That can feed on viral colony present in the body. That's been supported by eggs. Once the viral colony consumes mercury, the viral cells are now excreting a powerful neurotoxin versus the milder neurotoxin they once had when the virus was feeding on gluten and eggs. This powerful neurotoxin forms of virus feeding on mercury is unlike other neurotoxins because mercury itself is neurotoxic. Once it processed inside a virus cell, the structure of mercury is changed. It's transformed into methylmercury, meaning it's now composed of smaller mercury particles that have the ability to enter every part of the human body with ease. This type of neurotoxin can saturate the brain, causing inflammation in different areas of the brain and result in a variety of symptoms. This is worse inflammation than the viral neurotoxin from gluten in eggs, which means that the symptom someone experiences from mercury viral neurotoxins are worse. Virus is like mercury because it was originally used by labs to preserve viruses. I'm going to repeat that. Viruses like mercury because it was originally used in labs but to preserve viruses. Viruses like mercury because it was originally used by labs to preserve viruses. While being studied and raised in classified labs, viruses would be kept alive and suspended in their present state in a mercury-based preservative solution. Viruses learn to adapt to mercury using it as food. Mercury is not the only toxic substance that allows viral neurotoxins to become problematic. Any toxic heavy metal can suffice. Any solvent or chemical created from an industrial use can create potent viral neurotoxins too, including plug-in air fresheners, hairspray, other products, colognes, perfumes, scented candles, conventional household cleaner supplies, conventional detergents, fabric softeners, dryers, fragrances, cosmetics, new toxic chemicals on fabrics, fungicides on new clothing and furniture, pesticides, herbicides, and gasoline fumes. All of these can provide fuel for viruses, to very toxic neurotoxins that can create brain inflammation. When my niece had to take the bamboo because she had worked in a hospital. So she had to take the bamboo. She called me to pick her up from the emergency room. And of course I did. I tried to be there 100% because, I think that's why we're here on this wacky planet, to help each other. So I picked her up. And I had noticed her entire back was all inflamed. Her back looked like she was a hunchback. Anyway, after she took the bamboo, I would always wear my mask. And this particular one time, because she was nauseous, she couldn't stand up, I forgot to put on my mask. I breathed in, because I was standing right next to her. I breathed in. Somehow, I was feeling chest pain. I was like, what the heck is this? I had the most horrific, how I was trying to help her, and I told her what to do for the nausea. I told her, rub the tummy as close up to the chest as possible, down below the navel 3 times, and then push it down toward the groin, and then do the opposite 3 times and then push it down toward the groin. And I gave her celery juice. She couldn't drink the lemon water, but I kept giving her the celery juice. After she could, digest the lemon water. I saw a huge difference with her. She went back to smoking, and that changed everything. She went back to the same thing. What can you do? All you can do is give a person information. If they want the information, they take it. If they don't, I don't know what else to do. And yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not going to kid you. I try to always show, or maybe sometimes I force. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I do force. I don't mean to force, but I just know that his protocol works. Medical medium works. His protocol works. Anyway, after a while that I inhaled, because she had taken the baboon, I had such bad chest pain. And mind you, I still was picking up the baby. I went back and I still kept picking up the baby from school. My chest pain was so bad at one point. That chest pain was so bad that I kept pounding on my chest for it to move. And it did. It literally moved to the left side and then the right side. And then, of course, I started with the massage. It was like 90 degrees, and I would take a hot shower. And I would feel like things were kind of loosening up in my body, which was great. I also started doing massages on my scalp because I felt like, oh my God, where is my brain? So I did do the scalp massage. That happened, and I encourage you again to check your scalp. Is it smooth? Is one side bigger than the other side? Because that'll tell you, is there inflammation of some sort? Is there bumps in your scalp? Your scalp should be smooth, just like on a skeleton. You can run your hand or your thumb, take your thumb and push it in your skin. If there's a bump in your skin, you'll also know there's inflammation. Medical medium is the first person to speak about the Epstein-Barr virus and COVID. Oh, so don't be fooled by the medical community, and you have to be careful because they're using his information and it's not the full information. again, I'm going to encourage you to go to medicalmedium.com to look at his protocol. And we have to give credit where credit is due. Isn't that called integrity? I'm giving away 5 of these books. The Medical Medium. There's 7 books of the Medical Medium series. And this one is to protect your brain. I have been on his protocol since 2016, and I will not stray because I know the benefits. And as I stated, I have watched so many people in my family die. I have watched people get sick. I have been in hospice. I have worked at nursing homes. I have just been an observer. For me to observe and to pass it on. And I don't believe I'm a poor person who all these deaths have occurred. I believe I'm a very, very rich person that has observed and am bringing you this information to be your own doctor, because only you know what is happening with your body. As I stated, everybody can speculate, but you can speculate as well. And we're not taught to be in touch with our central nervous systems. We're not taught to be in touch with our body, let alone our finances. Nobody really teaches us financial information. But don't you think it's time for a change? For you to be your own physician, your own critical thinker, instead of letting fear dictate our capacity to make a good decision, because fear is a false expectation appearing real, and you never ever make good choices with fear. I can attest. I mean, anybody who does think they make good choices with fear, let me know, because I could be wrong. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be real. I could be wrong. But I just think I had this experience to enlighten everyone. And as I stated, there is no poor me. Yes, I had the experience, and it hurt. And I'm not going to kid you, it hurt really, really bad. But I believe I'm here to make people see that they have to weigh and do that critical thinking and ask themselves important information before things are rolled out and before they get something that is foreign injected into that physical body, because it has a repercussion. And as I stated, I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. But nobody asked me about my immune system. Nobody tested my immune system. But they did tell me if I don't get the baboom, I couldn't get another government job, which I didn't get the other government job because I didn't get the baboom. But like I said, I think I am here on this platform. I think this experience has happened to me for a reason, and I will keep touching on the Medical Medium and the 7 of his books. This is Brain Saver. I'm giving away 5 books. If you can tell me who AW is in the comments. The first 5 people that can tell me who AW is in the comments, I am going to send you this book with a wealth of healthy information. The first 5 people. So I welcome, as I stated, your criticism, because I can learn. I welcome the skepticism, because I can learn. I welcome it all, because you are my teachers and I am the student. Medical Medium, Secrets Behind Chronic and Mystery Illness and How to Finally Heal by AW states on page 37. While your immune system is in a weakened state, that also includes the blood draws, which makes the immune system weaker, Epstein-Barr can take advantage by leaving the organs it's been nesting in and by making a run for different major organs or glands. It's most common for Epstein-Barr to venture out from the liver. Hence people's big tummies. That's my 2 cents. Even if Epstein-Barr is also nesting in the spleen and other reproductive organs, it's the liver that Epstein-Barr cells are likely to travel from when the immune system is lowered. The normal path for most of the over 60 variants of Epstein-Barr is to head straight to the thyroid. Medical communities aren't yet aware that Epstein-Barr is the actual cause of most thyroid disorders, especially Hashimoto's, but also Graves, thyroid cancer, and other cases. The culprit is Epstein-Barr. Other thyroid complications are also sometimes caused by radiation. I am just so glad that you had a chance to listen to Revolutionary Healing. I will have the links below. And again, I welcome your comments. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. Just making sure that it's safe and healthy. Okay, thank you.